What's up, y'all? My name is Namir.
And I'm Roxann.
And we are
Becoming the Branches! This is a podcast where we share who we are.
And who God has called us to be. It's
a process. Yes, welcome to our podcast.
Hey!
We're so excited that you're here with us.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump right into it, babe.
Right. So what are we talking about today, babe?
We're talking about our love story.
We always kind of go back and forth about this. Who's correct?
I think mine is correct.
I don't know. I feel like there's some parts that she misses, like how she was captivated by me. But I'll let her show her side of the story.
Okay, so where did we meet?
We met in 2022.
Yes.
At the Dominion Deliverance Conference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So at the time, it was my church was hosting the conference.
Mm-hmm. Which is now our church.
Our church now.
Be clear.
Yep. And we, I was the social media director at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to grow the Instagram page. So I was like going around asking everyone most people, to follow us on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And while I was doing that, I saw Namir, LV, and this guy who I've known for a long time sitting and talking. So I was like, oh, there are two new guys. I can go over and be like, hey, follow us on Instagram because we need the following. And while doing that, he was so captivated by me.
Oh my God.
And he was like asking me all these questions. And I'm like, I'm just here for you to follow me or follow us.
See, and I feel like that was later.
Oh shoot!
Because what really
that's
happened?
True.
No, you had your time. What really happened?
That's true.
Is
Sorry.
Between sessions.
Let's start over.
No. We gotta keep going. What really happened is that between sessions,
oh my gosh,
we were talking.
Sorry. That's true.
We were talking to three of us.
That's true.
And then Roxy was like, they look new.
Yes, that's true.
And then she came over there and she started conversing with us.
I was like, what's your name?
Yeah.
Where
she was
you
like,
guys
who that
from?
fine man over there?
No, I was like, my name is no. I was like, my name is Roxy, whatever. And somehow we got into the conversation of like what I do as for like work and whatever the case may be. And he was like asking me a whole bunch of questions.
I feel like
I was like, I'm gonna talk, I'm being nice, so why not answer the questions? Right?
I feel like this is me. Outside looking in, I feel like I didn't ask that many questions. I felt like her and Vern, or LV as she likes to say, I just can't call him that just personally. But that's a whole story for a different day. But I feel like they were conversing and I'm like on the sidelines, like interjecting every so often, like, well, what about this? Or what about that? He's asking her, he's very good at interviewing people. He just does that all the time. And you're really getting to know people. He asks the right questions, very journalist vibes.
Vibes.
Yes, for sure. So he was asking her like, about track or about school, about work, about all this stuff. And I'm just like, boom, question. But I feel like I'm not really directly involved. I feel like I'm just watching and interjecting every so often. But, it was good dialogue. I'm not gonna hold you.
It was good. And then from there, I think I had to go.
Yeah, she had to go. So the story was she was actually supposed to change her clothes and go with her friend. Mm-hmm. And her friend kept hovering. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
Yeah.
I mean, her friend came back like, we supposed to change. You still talking.
Exactly.
And she did it at least 3 times, y'all. 3 times.
Oh, was it 3 times? See, you were counting. Okay.
No, because I saw, because she was like, friend, and you was like, she was like, one second. And she did that at least twice. And then eventually, like, we broke. And then we went out to get food. And then did y'all change? Did y'all end up changing?
I don't remember. I think we did, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe?
Yeah, so we ended up breaking for dinner, I guess, at this time. Mm-hmm. And so then, we went out, and we went to Cordoba, which was really good. I love me some Cordoba. That's just me. So we went to Cordoba, and then, like, we all carpooled. And so then when I got in the car, Vern was like, so what do you think about Roxy? And I was like, why did he make that face? He be making that face. So what do you think about Roxy? With his brow. Anywho, he be doing that, and I was like, she's cool. Now, at this time, I was believing God was going to send me my wife, because in 2021, the Lord told me that I was going to meet my wife in 2022. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm open. My eyes are out here.
Stick up in. This was September of 2022.
Yes. Yes.
For context.
For context.
September
the Lord spoke to me
2022.
in November of 2021 and said in the year 2022 I would meet my wife.
2022.
Yes, just so y'all know.
Okay.
Now, this is also the year, for those people that follow Prophetess Tiffany Montgomery, she was really pushing the Year of the Bride. And I was one of the participants in the Year of the Bride fast. It was going hard, praying for our spouse, doing all the work, so on and so forth. So that was also just to give you context. So I was believing God for my wife. So fast forward, we're at this conference, anywho. So he asked me, like, what do you think about Roxy? I'm like, Roxy's cool. She's cool. But, you know, I don't know if she's my wife. I need the Lord to say something. I mean, she's just cool. Because I'm like, I'm not going to give myself an inch. I'm not going to put too much stock in it.
Yeah.
I don't even know anything about this woman like that, for real. But she's cool. And I just left it at that, you know, fast forward. And so then we just went on our way. And we just had a good time. And then we came back, I think, after the break. And then I feel like it was the next day, though, babe. I feel like it was that Saturday, like, you made us follow y'all on Instagram.
Oh, probably. Yes, it was. Because that was the last day of the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's
Because I remember
true.
it was like the morning of Saturday. And we were leaving out, and she was like, "Where y'all going?" She asked us something like that, and she was like, "Take out your phones."
Oh yeah, I did.
And then she was like, "Okay." So we gave her our phones, and she went to Instagram and made us follow our church, which was like, okay. And then that was about it.
Yeah, that's true. And then from there, that was it on my side. I wasn't thinking about Namir. I wasn't interested in Namir. I was not. Her
heart was like, boom.
At this time in my life, I was very content with where I was, and I was okay with being single. So I was cool with that. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's fine. Oh yeah,
oh, you thought it was fine?
I didn't say that. No. I didn't say that. So I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking, oh, maybe like, what if he's single? Let me shoot my shot, or let me say nice little words or whatever to get him. That wasn't my thing at all. So I was busy serving. That was my mindset, is to serve, and that's what I wanted to do. And I was just focused on that. So when I met him and I saw him, I didn't have any like feelings like, oh yeah, he could be it kind of thing.
Not at this time.
Not at this time, no.
How things progress, huh?
Not at this time. So that's pretty much that part of it.
Yeah, that's
and
the
then
first part.
Some weeks had passed.
It was about 2 weeks. So we had the conference was about at least like the end of September or so. And I had asked Vern, because I know he was trying to join the church at this point. And so then I was like, okay, cool. Like, let me know when you go. So I'll go. So we ended up going maybe 2 weeks from the end of the conference, which was like mid-October, give or take. So we went to conference. It was really dope. I'm sorry, conference, and then service. Service was really cool. And mind you, we got to service, and then I met Roxy, and I don't remember, I think I met some other people too, but I don't really know them. All I know is I knew Roxy. Roxy knew us. And like at this particular day, Roxy is in full ministry mode. I mean, tunnel vision. She is not looking to her left or to her right.
No.
I'm literally in service. I'm trying to get her attention to say hi. I just want to say hi, like, oh, it's Roxy. Like, hi, Roxy.
Yeah, no.
You know, and she is just not paying no type of attention. She'd have walked past me several times, not looking my way at all. I'm just like, dang. So then by the time it was the end of service, she was like walking. I think she was walking out, and then we were talking with our other friend, Ashley, and somebody else at this particular time. And then I saw Roxy, and I was like, hey, Roxy, how you doing? She was like, hey.
Yeah, I was like, hey, did you guys enjoy service?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. All right, you guys have a good one. Like, I was like very short, very quick. It was like, that was it. Yeah. And then I left. And then he told me that apparently when I was leaving, I guess him and his friends were like in the parking lot. And while I was leaving, he was like, oh, there goes Roxy. She's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Not you putting words in my mouth.
So like he was like watching me and stuff. I got in my car. He was like being like a little stalker.
You know what? If you go somewhere,
he was like watching me. I got in my car. He said he watched me drive away. Weird.
Why are you like this?
Right? That's what he said.
This is my wife, he said. This is my wife.
That's what you said, right?
So at this time, let me be clear. All right? If we can't be crystal, let's be clear. So,
So
we talked, you know, and at this particular time too, I introduced Roxy to at least Ashley, our mutual friend. And I was like, oh, Roxy.
You and Vern's mutual friend.
Yeah, me and Vern's mutual friend. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was like, Roxy, this is Ashley. Ashley, this is Roxy, yada, yada. So the crazy thing about this encounter too was like when I talked to Ashley later, after the thing, she was telling me that, what did she say? She was saying that when I introduced her to Roxy, that I was actually like giddy, which she had never saw me giddy before. And I was like, what? I didn't even feel that way. I mean, I felt excited to see Roxy, but I didn't think nothing more of it. But we were talking at first we were in the sanctuary, and then we kind of progressed to being outside in the parking lot because we had parking lot ministry where we dialogue and whatnot. So literally we were in the parking lot at this point, and so then Roxy slowly walks to her car. And she's like on her phone, and then she gets in the car. And then, you know, I'm not gonna hold you, like it was a whole slow motion moment where it was just like, and then I had like these thoughts in my mind. I was like, wow, I wonder what Roxy's about to do. Or I wonder where she's going. And she's on her phone. And then she drove off, and I was like, huh, okay. And that was the last thought I had about it. I didn't think about it again. Didn't like reminisce. Didn't try to hit her up. Didn't do nothing. It was just like, yo, like, I wonder what she's about to get into. And that was it, you know?
Yeah. And this was in October.
Yep,
of
October.
2022. Let's go back a little. I just want to go back just to share a little bit of context for me. So in August of 2022, I had a deliverance session, right? Some things was coming up, and I needed to have
What does that mean for people that don't know? Things were coming up. Just give like a synopsis of deliverance.
A synopsis?
So she had a deliverance session.
Wait.
Some spirit, like for people that might watch and don't know what that is.
I don't want to say I was possessed. I was oppressed by demonic spirits.
Yes.
And
spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare. Yeah, but more so oppressed by demonic spirits. And I needed to get free, like, you know, to be set free from those things. So I had a deliverance session. Some things came up. And I said some things came up because I feel like I want to talk about that like another time.
No, I get it.
In details. But some things came up, and then I remember hearing in 3 months. And I told the people who were with me, I was like, I heard in 3 months. I was like, I don't know what that means, but
she knew what it means.
I didn't know what it means, and I was like, I just hear in 3 months. So hey, whatever. So in September, that's when I met Namir. In October, that's when I guess he was so captivated by me, and he was like watching me with my car and drive away. In November, I went to Israel. He was in, he was in, I was about to say Abu Dhabi. But,
go to Abu Dhabi.
Yes, we want to. He was in Arizona for work. So I was on like a tour with my church. And I remember I posted a video on my church's Instagram page. And
so this is the part where she was stalking us. I just want to be clear.
Wasn't. I posted a video on our church's Instagram page, and LV and Namir commented. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's LV and Namir. Like, let me follow them from my personal page.
You see what I'm talking about? That right there.
Right? So I went to my personal page and I followed them, and LV didn't follow me back until like sometime after, and I was like, I'm about to unfollow him because what you're not about to do is not follow me. Okay, but Namir followed me back, and then, ladies and gentlemen, he slid in my DMs right away.
It was not right away.
It was like in 1 minute.
Nope. It wasn't in a minute. It wasn't in a minute.
What was it?
It took a little bit. It wasn't like a long stint of time, but it took a little bit.
It was more than 3 minutes.
I would say 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I would say 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It would be 5 minutes because I remember like Roxy followed me. I was like, I was excited. I remember it was Roxy. I was excited. I was like, cool. So then I literally had, what did I do? I started going through her profile. Y'all already know. Went through her profile, scrolling, like for the guys. Yeah, women do it too. Don't play. So I was going through her stuff. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what she's done, this and third. So what happened was I saw with my eyes. My own 2 eyes. That she had written a book called Renewed. It's a women's devotional. Yeah. That's available on Amazon.
Yes, go get it.
Link in the description.
Yes.
So I saw that she wrote a book. And so I was like, so anybody that knows me knows that I'm a person that is really for my people. Like if y'all are doing something great, or if my people do something great or big accomplishments, I'm like the biggest advocate. I'm the biggest cheerleader. If it's really high quality, I'm going to push to the best of my ability. Or if people don't know about it and you don't want to talk about it, I'm that person that's like, Roxy wrote a book. Did you get it?
Yeah,
you know, like that's very much me. So when I saw that she wrote this book, I did not know I was going to be catapulted into her local DM. But that's what happened. So I saw she wrote her book and I was like, Roxy, you wrote a book? That's crazy.
You sent like this whole long paragraph, like just like,
I was excited because she wrote a book. I wasn't thinking about. He
was like, oh, this girl is on point, and she wrote a book and she loves Jesus.
Why does she love Jesus?
Wifey material.
You know what?
Yeah, that's what you said.
You something else.
So yeah, from there, I was like, oh, okay. And like I replied to his message and he replied back.
Instantly.
He replied back and the conversation was good. It was really, really good. And I was like, oh, okay. Like he's cool. He's a cool dude. Okay, let me keep.
Like she didn't know that before.
Let me continue to answer his
know that
messages.
Before, babe? You didn't want to leave it and look at the facts?
And I remember calling, oh my gosh, this is another story. So this is a story within a story within a story. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I remember when I first met Namir, I told my best friend Aurelia about Namir. I was like, oh my gosh, girl, I found this guy who'd be perfect for you. Like, he is a gentleman. He is awesome. I think you and him, perfect. Husband, wife. So then that day when we were going back and forth, and even though there was a time difference, like I feel like we were both on our phones, so like we were able to like
we
go
were
back
on
and
our
forth.
phones, but for context, it was late, so there was the time difference. So when I was in Arizona, it was about, I think it was like 11, or was it 11 your time?
I don't remember.
It was late. It was late for both of us. It was late where I was, and then it was I didn't know it was late for her. I'm thinking, I don't know what I thought when I was messaging her, because when she was in Israel, but I didn't realize it was like 11. I feel like it was 11ish, like in her time. So when she was telling me like later, I was like, oh shoot, she could have took that any kind of way. Like I'm trying, do some things, but I was like, nah, I wasn't even thinking like that.
Yeah, no. So I called Aurelia after like we were going back and forth for a while. I was like, Aurelia, there's this guy and blah, 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 blah. Mm. Totally forgetting that I told Aurelia some time ago about Namir and how he would be perfect for her. So she was like, girl, wasn't that the guy you were like telling me about that would be good for me? I was like, ooh, yes, that's him. So yeah, I told Aurelia, I told Charity, I told Prof. Mm-hmm. And I was like, for some reason I was so excited about him, and like
she was gay.
I was like, like he's so sweet, and like he kept on like messaging me and stuff. And I was like, like I like this. Like
was this that night? This still that night?
That what?
That night that we started talking demon.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I was like, like he's okay, cool. I like this. Oh my gosh, I like this. So that was that. And I think from there we kept on messaging each other. And then I forget, was it like the next day when I messaged you? It was like, hey, like I think texting would be better. Here's my number. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was the next day. So I don't know what day that was. It was like the night we had some dreams. The next day.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dreams. Yeah.
So the next day we started. We were still DMing here and there. It was kind of sparse. But then it got to a point where I think Roxy was like, yeah, here's my number. This will be easier. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, you're so smart. Like, I didn't even think about this. Like that, it would be so easier because we was checking Instagram every 5. Well, I know I was checking Instagram every 5 seconds. Wait, how frequently were you checking?
Yeah.
Every 5 seconds? Yeah. We was feeling each other.
Yeah, we were.
We really like, everybody trying to be cool. We were trying to be cool.
Yeah, we were trying to be cool.
It was just like, every 5 seconds, I was like, dang, she didn't respond yet.
I know. I thought the same thing too. Like I was out and about and I was checking my phone like, why? Like, what happened? Why did he not respond to me?
Yeah.
But it was like I think it was like some kind of connection issues or some internet issues. Because at one point, I wasn't getting your messages, but you were texting me, right?
Yeah, so it was the devil. It was the devil. So literally, she gave me her number, and then I don't know what happened or how much time had elapsed, but literally, we had DM'd each other again, and then Roxy was just like, "What happened? You never texted me."
Okay, it wasn't.
And I was like, "Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
It very much was." And I was like, "I did text you. You didn't get my messages?" And she's like, "You didn't get my messages?" And I'm like, "No." So we literally sent each other screenshots, and we literally did not get each other's text messages.
We did not.
Like, that's crazy. That never happens. That's nothing but Satan.
Yeah.
And so then from there, we hit restart and we texted each other again, and then we were flowing. But like literally, we didn't get each other's messages. Even when we checked the transcripts and our messages, like she didn't get mine. I literally did not get hers. But in the screenshot, you could see what we sent each other, which was wild. Crazy. Like, what? Yeah.
So, babe, do you want to share the dream that you had that night?
Yeah. So my dream was.
Yeah, I'll share mine too.
I had there was a particular picture of Roxy, which I don't remember now, but on her page, there was a particular picture that I liked, that I really liked too. Like, I kept looking at it a few times, to be honest. But I had a dream where I was in this, I don't know, I was checking in somewhere, and I remember like there was this binder, and y'all know like when there's a binder and you have to like sign in, and it's like a spreadsheet situation, so they got like a table, so it has like your name, maybe the number, and then there was a picture. And so I remember like myself like going through this long list, and I forget what line item she was on now, but it was like 72 or something, very specific and peculiar. But it was like on line number 72, I'm gonna say for instance, it was like, it said Roxann Keys, then it had her picture. And then I saw myself like look up from the binder, and I saw myself being hyped. And for people that know me, like when I get hyped, I be really hyped. I get really excited. So I was like, let's go. Yes. So I saw myself like, and this was like me looking at me, and I was like, okay, what is that about? That's weird. So I texted my friend, like, help me interpret this dream. What does this mean? And then she was like, Kimberly was like, I think this might be your wife, but let me pray about it. And I was like, okay. And then I had asked the Lord for another dream in the interim while I waited. But that was my dream. Yeah,
so my dream was that I was somewhere and I was talking to my apostle, and he was like, do you want to go to Mexico before or after you get married? And I'm like, what? And I felt someone like touch my shoulder. And I turned around and I saw Namir, and I was like, I was like so confused, like, what is he doing here? Look at that cheese, that big smile. But I was like, what is he doing here? It was like so confusing. But I was like, whoa, like, what? Huh? Like, it was just crazy. But that was one of the things that I was like, okay, all right. Cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. And we hadn't shared this with each other. This is just what happened, Yeah. It was still too fresh, too soon, too early to be like cards on the table.
Right, no.
But we did keep them in our pockets,
Yeah, we did. And then from there, we kept on messaging, talking every day for hours. Yeah. And then I said to him, do you want to go see Black Panther 2. And he was like, yeah, sure. So like we set up a date for when I come back to the States, and we went to the movie theaters, and then we went to this place
but you gotta go back, babe, because you're going kind of fast through it. But like, no, you're doing good. But there was like, we literally, in the process of us texting and just talking every so often, like we literally started planning dates without like going on a first date. So we were like, we need to go here. We gotta go to Crab Cab. We gotta do this. Yeah. We need to go to King's Dominion. We ain't been on not one date.
And we haven't seen each other since like freaking, what do you call that joint? October?
Yeah, October.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other since then.
Because our first date actually ended up being in November, late November.
Yeah.
Like Thanksgiving weekend.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yes, the 26th. Oh, yes. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't until that time, the 26th, that's when we saw each other again, since like October when we briefly talked. Yeah. And then from there, it was just like...
What you got to talk about our first date?
Okay, for the first date, we went to the movie theater, and then we went to this place called Punch Bowl.
Social.
We
were supposed to go to Janaya Ramen, but we got lost in the mall.
We got lost. But it was fun. I had a good time. We played games.
Yeah.
We took pictures in like this...
The photo booth. Which I had never done before.
Yeah. TBH. That sounds like me.
That is what you were saying.
So we took pictures. What a good time. We talked.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
And then we talked in the parking lot for like 3 hours. Like
Yes.
after, like we just cupcaking in the parking lot.
Yeah, we were just like talking for hours. I think like I didn't want to go. Did you want to go? Did you want to leave?
Did I want to leave? I don't know. I feel like yes and no. I feel like because it was getting late and I was a little tired. But I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
Like we literally just stood at the car and we're just talking.
talked,
And we're just like, so what you want? It was like, what you want?
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was so good.
And then we was like, so does this mean it's a second date?
Yeah,
It was
right.
like, I mean, what you think it's a second date?
That part.
It was dope.
Well, it was fun. And then what happened from there?
So then from there we had celebrated her birthday.
Yeah, that was
So
sweet.
yeah, that was the first time I got her flowers and balloons.
Yes.
And gave it to her and everything. So she really enjoyed that. We went bowling.
Yes, that was fun. We had a good time.
We did the arcade too.
Yes, that was fun. I was like being so competitive, which I can be at times.
Yeah, this is when we were on a competitive way.
Yes, we were so competitive.
I don't know why.
I mean, I feel like now we can still be competitive.
I mean, it's not like it was.
Yeah, for sure.
That's when we was like, I don't know, it was like arch rivals.
Oh my gosh.
Type deal. It was like, you can't do that. Oh, I can. I'm gonna beat you. You know, like
period.
everything. Like we went to King's Dominion. I think we was wild for that too. So we had it was the second date. We ended up going. Eventually, like we went to King's Dominion. That might have been the third or something. We went to King's. It was mad cold. I mean, it was ice cold. Probably was like, are y'all still going? Because it was like the day after Christmas.
Or something.
Yeah, and we were like, yeah, we're still gonna go. We're gonna go.
Uh-huh.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Freezing.
I was like all bundled up.
Yeah.
And then like there was like these bonfires, and I'm like.
Yes, we were like.
And
it was cold.
And then I was singing that song from SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, the CAMPFIRESMNG song.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. But yeah, so babe, how did you know I was the one? I know the Saints would love to hear that.
So for me, there was a lot of, in between the dates and us conversing, there was a lot of confirmation from the Lord. I was fasting like heavily in this time and praying. So from like and I also was journaling a lot too. Like that's how I remember most of this stuff as well. So like for me, during that time, like the crazy part is like it must have been October, end of September. No, it was like the end of October. Because during the year of the Bride Fast, I remember there was one testimony where this lady was like, I'm believing that I'm gonna get married this year. I'm gonna buy me a ring, this, and the third. But literally as the testimony went, like she literally met her fiance, they got engaged, and literally they got married in like a month's time. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. So literally like I started, the Lord was like, the time of praying has transitioned. It's time for you to start declaring and decreeing. So I literally made a whole prophetic song. Like I'm finding my wife, I'm meeting my wife, you know.
Oh, that's so good.
And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, all the counterfeits are being removed. Like, cause I'm meeting my wife. And this is like, you know, beginning, you know, the end of October. And like literally like in 7 days, cause we started talking like about November 6th or so. So literally like it was October 25th to 31st, somewhere in there, I was praying and declaring this song. And literally we started talking. I was like, what is this? This is okay. And so then I had my dream. And then when I had that dream, I was like, okay. So then my friend eventually came back and was like, yeah, I think that's your wife. And then the Lord gave me another dream. And so in the other dream that I asked, I didn't remember what it was about, but I remember the numbers. And so I was praying to the Lord, like, Lord, is it, I'm like, is it biblical? Is it this? Is it that? Like, what could it be? But actually, you know, it wasn't about the numbers. It was about dates. And so like in the second dream, it was like 42 or 26. The number was like 26. And I was like, okay, Lord, what does that mean? So I literally went to my calendar on my phone. And it just so happens that on that specified date, on the 26th of maybe February, it was like I was in, me and my friends had went out to dinner and we were talking about spouses and stuff. And that was the first time I actually had a conversation where people were like, how young would you date? How much older would you date? My thing was always, it can't be no more than like 3 or 4 years, because in the back of my mind, to be honest with you, is like statutory rape. Like that's what we taught, like, you know, so I'm like, it can't be no more than like 3, 4 years, if that, but that's pushing it for younger. I always like older women. So like talking to Roxy, that was one of my things. I was like, Lord, if she says that she's anywhere like 24 or 23 or 20, I'm like, it's done. I'm done. But God worked it out, you know, so it's just a good little difference.
How old was I when we met? Like 24?
26? 26?
No, I'm
25?
I'm 25. Yeah,
25,
sorry.
yeah,
I was 25.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years. So it was a 2 year difference, which was like, I was on pins and needles waiting for her to text me her age. She was like, I'm this. I was like, yes, okay, we're good. But then there was another time too, after that, you know, where like, I forget the other day, it was like 4/9, but like on the 9th, I was paired with, in my friend's wedding, Calvin's wedding, best wedding ever I've been to. Best wedding
Apart
ever.
from ours.
Apart from ours, yes, very true. They did that thing.
Yeah, they did that.
My God. Anywho, but in their wedding, like on that particular day, where it was like the same thing with the numbers, like I was paired with his younger sister, and I asked Calvin, I was like, "How old is your younger sister?" And he was like, "She's 3 years younger than we are." And I was like, "What?" So the whole time, the Lord was preparing my heart to be open to dating somebody or marrying somebody that's younger than me, which is a first. And so I was like, okay, cool. So in the short interim of that, and just like the Lord kept confirming and speaking to me, and I kept having visions about Roxy. I kept having dreams about Roxy. Like the one vision that I would tell people that was wild for me was I literally saw us like doing something like this, but we were on like a couch. We were being filmed, and it was like Giving Black Love documentary where you see like the couples and they be all booed up and stuff, and they be asking them the real questions. And I saw myself say like, I knew I was gonna marry you back when this happened. And like, mind you, I'm just seeing myself watching this. I was like, what? In real life? I didn't know this woman. We hadn't even talked like that.
That part.
And so the other thing that I was more cautious of was like not getting to be too far ahead of myself naturally, because spiritually I'm experiencing all these things. The Lord is speaking to me, showing me these things. And I'm like, Lord, I hear you. But at the same time, I don't know her. I don't know if I like her as she is. I could grow into all that stuff, but I don't know if I like her or if I care about this stuff. And it's funny because I even went through one time where we were talking about counterfeits, and I really had a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That thing was cracking me up. She was like, people are normally attracted to me because of my gifting and what they see me do, and this, that, and the third. And literally, I kid you not, I went to God. And I was like, Lord, is it me? Am I the counterfeit and I don't know it? God.
I remember that. Dang, I remember that. Yeah. And
then I realized it was one of those things too where like the Lord didn't even answer me. He just gave me space to really think it through. And I was like, wait, no. Because I haven't even seen her do anything. I don't even know what she can do. So it's like, it doesn't even apply to me. But I was like so stressed out. So anyways, I say all that to say, like there was different confirmations and stuff I had. But like God was already confirming that this was the one. And even he told me like verbatim, like he told me that Roxy would be a great candidate of marriage for you. He didn't say wife, he said candidate. And I was like, okay, Lord, like I'm gonna be open to see what you have to say about this woman. I like her, I'm feeling her. But the fact that he said candidate let me know that I was in the clear. And the more we continue to converse and talk, the more it kind of confirmed and solidified for the both of us, even like sharing with our loved ones and stuff and time, or friends at least, and just, it's crazy, crazy. Yeah,
for me, it was a whole thing. But I had a dream during this time. This was like 2020, October 2020. I had a dream, or I was fasting for a week, and the Lord said to continue to fast for the rest of that month. So for the entire month of October, I was fasting.
Okay, October, y'all see it?
Yes, I was fasting. And I remember having a dream of this prophet calling me to give me a word. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was waiting for this prophet to call me in the natural, because my dreams can be very much like what I see. It is what it is for the most part. So I was waiting for the prophet to call me, and no answer, no call or nothing. So I was like, okay, Lord, I'm about to call him. Like, you have a word for me.
Right.
Give my word.
Release the word.
And the Lord was like, no, don't call, because when he calls you, it's going to be a prophetic sign that I've heard your prayers and I've answered it. So I was like, okay, cool. So one day I woke up, went into the shower, or went into the bathroom, and I brought my phone with me. I don't do that. Like, no, I don't do that whenever I'm showering or whatever the case may be. But that day I brought my phone with me. And the moment I stepped out of my bathroom, or the bathtub shower, my phone was ringing, and it was this very long number on WhatsApp. So I was like, I don't know this number. Like, I don't know who this is, but I felt the Holy Spirit say, answer it. So when I answered it, it was the prophet. And he called me. He was like, hey, I have a word for you. And he gave me this long word. And I remember praying also that whoever God has for me will be intentional, that he will know that I'm the one for him, that he would love me, and he will treat me well, that he won't lead me astray, that he won't waste my time, all these different prayers. And that, we do ministry together, we do all these different things together. And very like what the word was that that the Lord is gonna speak to this man clearly about me, and that he would be intentional, that the relationship would be passionate, consistent, whatever the case may be. It was like very much the very things that I've been praying and asking the Lord for during that time of fasting and prayer. So when I met Namir, and when I tried to push him away, and when all these different things, like, he was consistent, he was intentional, like the Lord spoke to him, and you can just tell that he was confident that I was the person for him, right? The person that God had for him. And on top of that, the dream, right? That other dream that I had with him and my apostle. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And again, as time went on, and he just showed me like he said things. Yes, he uses word to express himself and to tell me how like he felt about me and us, but also like his actions. And that was also a big part of it too, because I told the Lord that I wanted to see actions. Like, I'm like, the words are cool and the words are fine, but the actions is what I wanted to see as well. I wanted to see both, but more so the actions. And Namir did all of that. Like, he was just like amazing. Oh my gosh, he still is amazing.
That's it. Let him know.
He's still being intentional and consistent. Like, he's just amazing. So I say all of that to say, ladies, okay, y'all don't settle for no just anybody, okay? Y'all allow the Lord to just bring the right person in your life. It's so worth the wait. It's just amazing when your time comes and when God puts all the puzzle pieces together. You're gonna be like, oh wow, thank you, Jesus, for allowing me to wait, because it's so worth it. Like, it's worth the wait.
Yeah. And the time, you won't even realize too, I think, how fast time goes by. Like, when I think about it, like, not even like us being married now, or us being like, when we started dating, I forget how many years it was that I was single, and then by the time we got in a relationship, it was like the twinkling of an eye. And it was like, yo, like, I'm about to be married. I was about to be married. I'm like, damn, I'm in a relationship. Like, I went from like literally, and that was so funny, because I think about what Prophetess Tiffany said. She used to be like, I don't care if there's nobody in the picture. You continue to believe, you continue to pray, you continue to fast, you continue to decree. And I was like, Lord, there's literally nobody in this picture. And mind you, it was October. So one of my prayers to the Lord was like, God, it's October. So whatever you're going to do, you ain't got much more time. So where's she at? Like, make it make sense. Yeah. And literally, like 7 days later, like, Roxy and I started talking, and I went from population 0 to population 1. And I was like, okay, Lord, like, things are jumping off. Like, and from that point forward, it's like, dang, like, I don't even remember like the days of singleness, or how many years I actually had waited. Like, she's just been incredible from start to finish. Like, she loved me. She's kind to me. She's thoughtful. She's encouraging. She's just so many other things, you know what I'm saying? And then there was also like random moments too, where I feel like the Lord confirmed it for both of us. Like, I'll never forget, I think we were texting maybe the day before her birthday or after, and we were talking about something, and like literally somebody had texted her on the side, and it was like, it's established by God, whatever it is. Like, I hear the Lord saying it's established by God. And we were literally saying something about the number 2 or being established by God in our own conversation. And they texted her at the same exact time. So we were like, okay, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Like, we see what you're saying.
And I personally needed all the confirmation, all that stuff from the Lord, because I had came out of a relationship at the time, well, in 2020, that was just, it was so traumatic for me. And I told the Lord that I wanted him to talk to me, like, very clearly. Like, if he has to leave his throne and come say, yo, this person is your husband, like, that's where I was. But also during that time when I met Namir, I was very much content, because I went through like this whole process of healing, this whole process of like the Lord dealing with my heart, exposing the things and all that stuff, and preparing me. Because I remember like the Lord was telling me too, like he would give me dreams and like tell me that I need to prepare to be a wife. And I remember one day I got to this place where I was like, Lord, I don't want to share you. Like, my relationship with you is going to change. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be a wife. Like, Lord, I just want you and you alone. And like the Lord was like, okay, cool. But at the same time, I knew it was crucial and it was very important for me to start to prepare to be a wife, which I want to talk about another time. But yeah, I think that's all, babe. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, I mean, that's just the gist of it, you know? Like, we started dating, then we started, well, let's be clear. So we went on a few dates, and then it was about December that we were like, okay, like, let's start courting. Like, we actually mutually agreed, and then that was the whole thing, which is like, you take some time to pray about it, I take some time to pray about it.
But the funny thing about that is that we knew.
We did.
We knew from a long time ago this is where we're going, we're heading, we're gonna get married one day. But we just wanted to be really careful, I guess.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to make sure that we're doing the right thing, even though we knew that that's where the Lord was leading us to.
Right. And we didn't want to be led by our feelings just because we were feeling each other. We didn't want to miss any flags or anything that was like, you know, not of God. That, you know, we just felt like la 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 la. Like we wanted to be really clear about that. So we took some time to pray about it, came back, was just like, you got a yes, I got a yes. Let's keep it pushing.
Yeah, let's keep going.
So then we kind of just moved forward from there. And then, you know, I met some her peoples and that was a whole thing. They grilled me.
What's your credit score?
Yeah, what's your credit score? How much debt you got?
I was at...
You know, thank God for charity. really nice. I needed one person.
No, I needed that. Well, he needs that.
I needed one. I need one intercessor.
Yeah.
In charity.
It was good. It was good. They've been with me through some things. So I'm like, hey, like go for it, you know. Prof was in it too, like not at the same time, but she was like, but Apostle was like very much excited about it, and yeah, and that was one of the signs too, because she was saying that in other relationships or I guess interests where she's been a part, he's always been like but with me he's just been really very
cool,
strict, I'm like, oh,
fatherly.
Leave me alone.
No, you can't go out with them.
Leave me alone, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, that's that.
Yeah, so we started courting. We moved through. You know, it was nice. And then that was 22. Yeah, so we had to 2023, still courting. And so like we're like, okay, marriage, and things are getting
I was like waiting.
tense.
I was like,
Things
oh
are
my
getting
gosh.
tense.
I'm like, when are you like it's time, like I'm like, if you know, you know. Like, why are you waiting so long? I was like getting like a little bit.
She was frustrated.
Yeah, I was just like, it's time. Tension. Yeah, there was tension.
It was very much.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we actually it came to a head, I forget, it was before we went on our Texas trip. And so, like, literally, I don't know if it was that week before or maybe 2 weeks before, like, we literally talked about it. And so then, you know, we had like a heart-to-heart, which got real. And so then we were just talking about it, and she was like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, when you know, it's the year of the bride, da-da-da-da. And I was just like, you know, I understand that, but like, I haven't heard the Lord tell me anything explicitly about time frame, about this or about that. All I had been doing was saving money because the Lord had told me in a prayer meeting that I had, you know, that I should start. They were like, somebody had a vision. They were like, I see you going to a jewelry store, and I see you purchasing a ring. And I was like, with what money? This was like in February of that year. I was like, with what money? I have no money to purchase no ring. But like literally through the course of that week, the Lord started dealing with my heart. I started saving some money. So I saved about $3,000 or so at that point. So fast forward, you know, by the time we had this dialogue, I was like, you know, like the Lord hasn't said anything to me. I want to do you right. I want to make sure that your ring is nice. I wanted to be really nice.
Yeah, he was saying that. He did say that.
I wanted to be really meaningful. I didn't want it to be like some shoddy engagement, like just because we are and we know like we should. Like I wanted to be something that we could appreciate, remember, reminisce, and really just enjoy, you know? So like we literally had that discussion. We went to Texas, and then it was funny.
Let's talk about that another time.
Well, I know, but I'm giving the overview. I'm not going into detail. Okay. We went to Texas. That kind of shifted. We found the rings, as you guys will see on our YouTube channel and some stuff.
Yes.
And then it kind of progressed. We started planning for the engagement. We had the engagement, which was wonderful. You know, even the ring process and the testimonies with all that stuff was just phenomenal. So we kept pushing towards the mark, and as the Lord would have it, like we continued to find favor just throughout the entire process. And you know, now we're married. So we just bless the Lord.
Yes, we bless the Lord. So babe, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway is you have to submit yourself to God's timeliness and His plan. So even if you have a population 0 and you don't understand, like submit it to God's timeliness and His plan, and recognize that, you know, He's going to work it out for your good in His time.
Dang. Okay. That's it?
That's all I got. I don't, you know, submit, and submit some more.
Yeah. For me, I will say, The worth is weight.
The weight is worth it.
The weight.
Well, I can't even know if you said it.
For me, the takeaway is the wait is worth it.
Yes.
And even though it may feel long, even though it may feel like, whatever the case may be, it's so worth it.
I'm worth it, y'all.
He is worth it, and I'm worth it for him too.
Absolutely. Best woman ever for me.
Yes. So, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for listening,
learning.
watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at Becoming the Branches.
Yep.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Becoming the Branches. Show us some love.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Right. And remember, becoming is a process that starts with God and ends with God too. It don't stop, people.
It don't stop. We love you guys.
All
Bye.
Right. Bye.